All right, everyone, we're here with our next stranger. Just want to ask you kind of the opening question, which is what is your name? How did we meet? And tell me a little about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Karmen. We met through Omegle, or Omegle, whatever you want to call it. Um, I'm 19. I live in California, so very liberal state. We're very blue. Yeah, we're a blue state. Um, yeah, because a lot of Latinx community comes in through California. I'm actually Mexican, so my views on things are also very liberal. Um, and Bernie 2020 or Michelle Obama 2020. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I'm a huge Bernie fan myself, actually. Um, yeah, so interesting. So, what were you born in Mexico or?
No, no, I was born in California, but I say I'm Mexican because I feel more Mexican than American.
Hmm.
And I mean, my dad has always told me, he said, you could have been born in Japan, China, Canada, wherever, but you're Mexican. So
Oh, interesting. What are the ethnicities of your parents?
both of my parents are Mexican.
Okay. Do you travel a lot?
No, I have only been to Vegas and Oregon.
Cool. And do you like those spots?
I like Vegas a lot, a lot. And we go almost every year for my mom's birthday, but we didn't go this year because of Rona.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's really messed up everything, right? Corona. It's really thrown a wrench in all the everyone's plans. So
Yeah,
you say that you feel like really connected to your Mexican heritage.
yeah, a lot, so much. I love being Mexican.
So what is it about being Mexican that you love, or that you identify with?
I love the culture, like the music. It's some like the music that they have, like the mariachi, the we call it banda, and just like the norteño, all the music that they have. It's amazing. And then like like they have like these shoes that are like I don't know I don't know what to call them. They're sandals. Here, I have them. Hold on. I'll
Cool.
be back. I have them. Like literally, look at these shoes. They're so cute, you know. And then also like there's like cowboy boots, and they actually originated from Mexico. Like everything that like the most like redneck thing you could think of came from Mexico. All like cattle ranching, cowboys came from Mexico. All of that came from Mexico. But they
And
want to claim it as their own because white supremacy.
yeah. Interesting, right? Yeah, the taking over of another person's culture and calling it their own. I mean, we white people are professionals at that. Speaking
Hmm.
speaking from my end of that. So interesting. So like, what do you think is it about? What do you think is it about you that's kind of gotten you so fired up about politics and all of this stuff?
Honestly, okay. So I have a very severe addiction to TikTok. To be quite honest, I've learned more about politics and history from TikTok than I ever did in school. Like literally the only reason that I didn't graduate culminate from 8th grade is because I failed history class.
Huh.
Hmm.
So what was it about history that you feel was kind of like a block for you?
Well, for so many, like they only teach us white American history. That's it. No, and okay, so they only teach us about who became president, who's president now, how it affects us now. Okay, they don't tell us anything about how we can change what's going on. I didn't learn about the economy. I didn't learn about how to pay my taxes. I didn't learn any of that. Like I teach me that. Don't teach me about these old white dudes that became president. I don't care. They did what they did. Okay, and now this is what I'm at now. Where we're at now. Okay, teach me about how I can make a change. Teach me the law. Like actually teach me the law. Like, don't just tell me about what they did. Don't tell. I know my rights, okay? I know I know a good enough amount to get me through in life, but not enough. Well, that did not make sense. I know enough to know my rights. I know yeah, literally all I need to know is my rights, but I need to know how to do my taxes and etc. Things like that. Things I actually are going to be useful in life, not about these old white dudes that are most of them are dead. Like I don't like no, I'm not going to say that. Well, yeah, I really don't care about that, but like I don't care. So why are you going to tell me about something I don't care about? Like I actually want to know my history. They don't even teach Mexican history, which is actually a huge part of how this country was built.
Wow. What part of Mexican history do you know much about Mexican history?
Like I said, I learned a lot more from TikTok than I
Yeah.
have from.
Is there some information or facts that you'd want to share with us that you think is really important for us to know, for the culture to know?
Mhm. Okay, so as you may know, Native Americans were here first, the Indians. And then Christopher Columbus found America. No, he did not find fucking America. The Native Americans, hence the name Native Americans, were here first. And then he stole the land from the Native Americans. And something you may or may not know is that most Mexicans, if not all Mexicans have some type of Native American blood in them. Therefore, the land belongs to Mexicans more than it does to Americans. Because Native Americans, they were like they're basically our ancestors, basically, you know, like if you didn't
Yeah.
know, if you're told, oh yeah, you have some Mexican in you, and let's say you take a DNA test and it comes up Native American, it's like, oh, it doesn't show Mexican, but Native American, it can mean Mexican. So
Oh, interesting. What is it about TikTok that has yeah, what has been the educational part about TikTok for you?
literally, it teaches me about politics. Like, did you know that white people were not supposed to exist? White people are mutants.
How so? Could you explain that?
So when white people were started here in Pangea, they started to move farther and farther from the equator, and so they were in colder climates. They didn't get any sun, no melanin, etc. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
like,
Well, from what I understand, just to kind of give you my perspective of it, is that Pangea was kind of the ultra continent, right? Like when all the other continents were kind of mashed up together.
mhm,
But human beings didn't really start evolving. From what I understand, we didn't really start kind of coming into existence until about maybe 200,000 years ago, when all of the continents were kind of similar to how they structurally are now.
mhm,
Um, so that and from what I understand too is like there's this really great book called Gun Germs and Steel by Jared Diamond,
mhm,
which is kind of all about this. And I really would recommend that book to you.
mhm.
I'll put that in the description below, Gun, Germs, and Steel, as well as, have you ever heard of this book called The People's History of America?
No, but it sounds like
Oh,
almost every single one of
it,
my history books.
what did you say that again?
Like almost every single one of the history books that.
No, well, actually, it's the idea of so like you were saying, right? Like history was very much the history books, like textbooks, like in school, is history written by the executioners,
Mhm,
right? But this book by Howard Zinn's called The People's History of America is a book written from the perspective of the executed, by the Native Americans, by the people who were killed by the invaders, you
mhm.
know? So I'd recommend those books, and I'll put those in the descriptions below. But for you, like, what do your friends, um, yeah, what do your friends think of all of this stuff? Do you have good conversations with them about it?
Well, actually, no. Like, I don't really talk to my friends about like how about this. I talk to most of my dad
Hmm.
and my mom about this. My mom, she's like, whatever. And my dad, he's just like, oh, okay. Like he just listens, but doesn't really have opinions on it.
Does that frustrate you? How does that make you feel?
No, like I just like sharing what I know, what I've learned from TikTok and things like that. So it doesn't bother me that he doesn't really have an opinion on it. My mom's just like, like she just sometimes she won't even pay attention to me, but that's normal because she's always on her phone.
Do you have siblings?
I don't. I'm an only child.
Me too.
Wow.
Yeah, there are a lot of only children actually on Omegle who are interested in doing these talks. Um, yeah, do you have any thoughts or questions? Uh,
Um, no. Donald Trump is a pussy though.
could you go into that? Why? What is your opinion on that? Why?
Okay, so he can't handle being bullied on TikTok, so he's trying to ban it. So part of my life is gonna end if he does ban it. In the US though. He's just gonna try and ban it in the US because a ton of people he can't handle the truth. A ton of people are like Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Donald. Like almost every other video on TikTok on my For You page is about Donald Trump. He can't handle the truth. He can't handle that people are spreading the word of everything that's wrong with the US on Omegle. On TikTok. What is wrong with me? Um,
That's okay. That's okay.
um, you know, like I said, I've learned so much more about politics on TikTok than I ever did. Did you know that um, Native Americans are protesting in Mount Rushmore because it's part of their land under treaty, and Donald Trump is trying to take that land away from them, even though he can't, because it's
Mm.
literally under treaty that it is their land.
Wow. No, I had no idea that Mount Rushmore part of uh, uh, was part of a Native American's land. Do you know what tribe?
I don't know what tribe. I remember that they said what tribe, but I don't remember what tribe it is. So no, I don't.
Okay. Well, something for us to look into after this.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore. Um, yeah. So why don't you really talk to friends about this stuff?
I don't know, cause well, first of all, when I see my friends, it's not very often, you know. So I feel like when I see them, I just want to like catch up on how they're doing, especially like during this quarantine. I barely see them. So and
Mm.
also, I mean, when I was in school, I would talk about stuff like this a lot, like especially when the primary elections were going on, we would talk about it and stuff like that. But no, not right now. I mean, like on Omegle, I do talk to people about them, just like this and that, and they're like, no. Oh, something else that pissed me off is when people are like, he's not a rapist. Don't know Donald Trump isn't a rapist. I'm like, you literally fucking stupid. He has literally said it himself. He has literally said it himself. I have I have evidence. I will pull up the video. It is again, it is from TikTok. The video is from TikTok.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to share this, to hear it.
Yes. There I don't know. He makes me so mad. I just want to grab him by his hip from his freaking wig and throw him against the wall 37 times. Against the stupid wall he's building. That's literally not going to keep us out. If he knows anything about the Latinx community, he'll know that we have skill, okay? If we could walk through the freaking desert 2,000 miles with barely any food or water, he should know that we can do anything.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, this is the video.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean, you are one. All right, I was going to say that. So Donald Trump himself admitted to being a sexual predator?
In that video, when his
taken...
daughter said, "You are one," he said, "It's true." What? What?
This is something that I mean I agree that I think Donald Trump is real nasty guy that has done a lot of awful things to women.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm really I'm really actually skeptical of learning things from like overly edited videos like that on TikTok or Twitter or even Facebook, Instagram, right? Because there are all these. I wonder where. I just wonder now with deep fake videos and
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
no, that that's that's an actual like a real video. Like I'm not even joking. And there are more here.
I
Here's
mean,
another one.
I believe you. I just am so skeptical of these outlets. But yeah, let's hear.
Here's another one.
and things like that. You are one. All right.
Here's what Donald Trump said about his old friend Jeffrey Epstein in 2002. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. That has even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You're going up the Escalade? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
A woman had filed a lawsuit alleging Trump sexually assaulted her when she was only 13 years old.
I'll go backstage, and everyone's getting dressed. I'm the owner of the pageant, so I sort of get away with things like that.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing. For the 22nd time, Donald J. Trump has been accused of sexual misconduct.
Kissed me again very aggressively. He was putting his hand up my skirt.
She would not be my first choice.
I'm very
Ugh.
Sure, they let you do it.
touching my private parts.
Grab him by the
What does he think this is? He pinned you against the wall. There was a fight. She kept the dress. She's asking for a sample of Trump's DNA for her case.
Yeah, I mean it's awful that someone like that can be our president.
Hmm. He literally has admitted to it. Literally, he has said that if what's his daughter's name? Whatever his daughter's name. He said,
Ivanka.
yeah, if Ivanka was not his daughter, he would date her.
I've
Like,
heard that. I've heard him say that too.
like, he is such a sick fuck. Like, oh my god, how can you say that about your own daughter? Like,
Mm.
how can your own daughter be your favorite sex symbol? Like, I don't understand that.
So for you, in this fight, like, are there any organizations that you would advocate supporting that have been effective in kind of
I
taking
honestly
him
don't know
on?
of any. I know that there's petitions, and I sign petitions to like like all the Black Lives Matter petitions and things like that. I have signed them all. But
Have you been active in, at least with Black Lives Matter? Have you been
I
active in protesting?
I haven't gone to a protest, but I have made a couple TikTok videos about it.
Hmm.
So I
This
made
is
like
some this is something that's interesting, right? To me, is like is that at least like my generation and I'm 29, so I'm a little older. I think I don't know what like I'm a millennial. Are you Gen
yeah,
Z?
I am Gen Z.
Okay, so like our two generations are. I feel like what we think about as being politically active is being active on social media, but I just don't think that that's enough. I just really don't think it's
Yeah,
enough.
I wanted to go to a protest, but my mom would basically drag me by the hair that I don't have back into the house. She'll be like, "No, you're not going anywhere." Like I said, I'm Mexican, so even though I'm of age to do whatever I want, as long as I live under her roof, I live under her rules. So
What are your thoughts of that?
yeah, I mean, I can't really have a thought on that. I mean, it kind of sucks. I wish I had a bit more freedom, but I know that if I had a job and if I was more responsible or anything, then I would have a bit more freedom. But it's still, and as long as you live under my house, you live under my rules.
What
Which I mean,
about what
it's fair.
about yeah? So did you say it's fair enough?
Yeah.
Do you think are you interested in going to continuing your education? Are you or where are you in terms of like did you graduate high school? Are you going to college or
I'm in college. I'm currently in college. Yeah.
what are you studying?
Child development.
Like psychology?
No, I wanna work with deaf kids.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
I love sign language and I love kids. And at first I just wanted to be an interpreter. But then I took a child development class last year, literally last year, last summer, and I just completely fell in love with it. And so,
Wow, that's very cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think one of the this YouTube channel is kind of like I'm thinking about a lot about how to be more of an activist these days,
Hmm.
I think it's really important to like it is helpful to just to it's helpful to be aware and continue to remind ourselves of just how awful Donald Trump is as a
Yeah.
human being, right? But we also need and that's necessary, but we
Mhm.
need to do more.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think, I mean, I think that going to protests, being active on social media is helpful, but I don't even think that it's the bare minimum we can do. Like we
I
need
mean,
to we need to put our skin in the game. If we're not risking something,
mhm.
if we're not risking getting in trouble or risking doing losing something, then what are we actually, how much do we actually care about the issues that we're talking about? You know what I
Yeah, no,
mean?
I completely understand what you're saying. I mean, social media, it is a great way to start to get word out about things that are happening. Like for example, Vanessa Guillen, you know, I think if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't have heard about it. And same thing with George Floyd. Will Smith himself said, racism isn't getting worse, it's getting filmed. And I'm just like, that's so true. There are so many names of people that have died because of police brutality. The list goes on and on and on. And then people are like, well, police, like, Blue Lives Matter. It's like, we're not saying that they don't, okay? And it's all lives matter. We're not saying that all lives don't matter, okay? Or that Black lives matter more. But who's getting killed? Okay, who do you see under a cop's neck, under a cop's knee? You know, and um, all lives won't matter until Black lives matter. You know, and people are like, well, the police are just trying to do their job. You know, like they're threatened. It's like, okay, first of all, the police chose to be a police. Okay, they like,
Well, you wonder why they chose to be police in the first place, right? Like it's like
yeah.
they probably are people, generally I would say that they tend to want to be, they tend to stay in the same hometown maybe that they grew up in. They really like being in positions of power. They tend to be more aggressive, and so how can they, and plus, like, if you enter the police force, you get a decent pension, you get money, right? So you get everything you want. And now with like the militarization of the police force, you wonder, like, if people just go into that to kind of feel powerful and to throw their weight around.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, like they they abuse their power so much, and I feel like it's something that people don't see. It's like, and oh, it just, it literally makes my blood boil seeing like how they act, and just like to just to minorities in general, you know. And like I'm saying, they chose to be a cop. Black people didn't choose to be black. People of color did not choose to be people of color. You know, even me being Mexican, you know, I am so thankful that I speak pretty much perfect English, and I could have like literally the whitest, most California girl accent, because and I don't I my last name is Irish. Like, it's not Irish, but it's an Irish last name, you know. So I'm so thankful that I don't have that, because if I got pulled over and the cop sees, like, let's say Lopez, I could get arrested like that. I could get shot at like that,
Mm,
you
mm,
know.
yeah.
And also, like, the thing with the guy that got beat up because he didn't speak English, and this lady was going around like asking someone to help her husband, or just like help, like he's getting beat up because he didn't speak English, blah 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 blah. And then the lady that was filming the whole thing, she said, "Sorry, Black Lives Matter," because the cop was black, but he was beating up a Mexican because he didn't speak English. And so whoever the fuck agrees with that, they could get the fuck out of the movement. Okay? Whoever else would say that, they can get the fuck out of the movement. Okay? Because Black Lives Matter started because of police brutality against minorities. Okay? So you either stand with all minorities, or you just no.
This is the thing that blows my mind, is that like Black Lives Matter has been going on now for 7 years, right? It
Mhm.
started under Obama. Like why? Like why is what needs to happen? What do you think are the things that practically need to happen to get things accomplished and changed?
Okay, well, like I said, Black Lives Matter is a movement against because of police brutality against minorities. Um, so I don't know if you knew this, but it is there's like this test that cops go through to see how racist they are. You know, I don't know if you knew this, but it's part of like their training. So I think just having a better way to tell how racist they are, you know, I say just do a lie detector test on them, and then ask them if they think being black is is okay, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
interesting. Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
say, yeah, being black is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And if it's like they go a little crazy and they're lying, then nope, you can't be a cop. You're gonna kill those.
I had a conversation with a black guy from Sweden actually just yesterday or 2 days ago. That's on the channel. His name is Mohammed, and he says that he has never felt nervous or threatened by a police officer in his country. That in Sweden, as a black man, he has never felt scared of police brutality at all. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
So what does that say about the there's a different it's not a universal thing, I guess it that
Yeah.
Sweden has figured something out. There's something in America and in the American culture that is kind of
Yeah. The system is corrupt. We have such a corrupt system. Like
yeah
it's so it's you're either white, or you're you're not you're not good enough. You know, it's it's literally so much white supremacy. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Whoever votes for him is a white supremacist, even if they're Latinx, even if they're
well
black, etc.
this is something too, right? Because like and I want to ask you about Bernie Sanders, because you mentioned that you're a Bernie Sanders fan, and I am a
Yes.
huge Bernie Sanders fan. And but like what about those people who were looking at Donald Trump and thought, okay, look, he has a lot of money, so he won't take money from special interests.
Mm-hmm.
He's talked about expanding infrastructure and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So we're going to vote for him this time around. Um, and also, like, we believe that Hillary Clinton is corrupt, because she takes hundreds of thousands of dollars from Wall Street and the big banks and stuff. And we're tired of that corruption. And we kind of want to shake the system up a bit. We want to shake the corrupt system up. Like, what if people voted? I'm sure there were people who voted for those reasons. Like, what would you say to those people?
I would say, well, okay, so let's say they voted for all the right reasons. Um, I, I'm like, okay, he's a terrible person. He has done all these things. Why would you want someone that has done terrible things? You're just giving him more power to do even worse things. Okay.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and say, like, well, are you saying that I should vote for Hillary because she's done a lot of wrong things too? That's
A
what
lot.
really saying.
She's a way better choice than Donald. I would say that. because I'm like, she's not very good. She doesn't seem like she'll make a very good president, but I don't want Donald Trump to be the president, you know?
Mm.
I'm like, either Hillary's gonna be my president or Obama's gonna continue to be my president. My president has not changed. My president is still Barack Obama. It's not Donald Trump, you know? I just
Mhm.
think with Donald Trump now, I ask myself, does everyone that voted for Donald Trump regret their decision with everything he's doing? With literally everything, you know?
Mm. Mm.
He's sending people he's sending cops to peaceful protests and having them shoot rubber bullets. And they're not even just rubber bullets. They are bullets covered in rubber. That is what they are.
For you, how do you think we bridge the divide between conservative and liberal and all work together to accomplish change?
Just do your research. Do your research. Inform yourself before you make any drastic decisions. I
So,
feel that's
yeah.
the biggest thing that you can do. Just and be well informed. You know, don't don't how can I do this? Don't believe everything the media tells you, you know. Like actually look it up and then don't form an opinion based off of the opposing side. Does that make sense? Don't form an opinion based off of what they said, you know. Make sure you look into it and make sure you look at everything that they're trying to do. That's why I wanted to vote for Bernie. That's why I voted for him in the primary elections. Oh my god, I can't talk.
It's okay.
Um, that's why I voted for him in the primary elections because he wanted to do so much for the immigrant children and things like that. For not just the immigrant children, but all immigrants. You know, that's why I voted for him because he wants me to go to college for free. It's the main reason I voted for him because college is expensive. So I voted for him for all the right reasons. I looked at everything he was trying to do. I said, okay, perfect. You know, and I mean, I don't want Joe Biden. I don't want him. But I mean, if I write in Bernie Sanders or Michelle Obama or whatever, it's a vote for Trump basically because I mean it really is. It's just a vote for Trump.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because in California, which will definitely go Democrat, if you do write in Bernie Sanders or someone else, vote third party, then that vote, all of the electoral college votes go to, it's a winner take all state, right? So it may be a helpful protest vote to show that you're not happy with the two-party system, you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
Good.
no, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a vote for Joe Biden because anyone but Trump. Well, anyone but Trump and Kanye West. Now that he wants to be president all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
know. I'm
Interesting.
gonna plug in my computer because it's like gonna die. So
Yeah,
give me
that's fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
1 second.
hmm.
Um, yeah. So
um,
anyone but Trump, 2020.
do you have any? Yeah, What about your parents? What are their? What's their position on Joe Biden and politics?
Okay, so
Bernie Sanders.
my parents cannot vote, and I have not talked about this with my father too much, but I have talked to about it with my mom, and my mom, we're quite religious, you know, and she's against gay marriage, and she is against um abortion, and as am I. I'm not for abortion. I'm pro-choice, but um it's complicated, but I don't like abortion, but I'm not gonna remove the choice of a woman. You know, if she wants an abortion, if it's life threatening to her, if it's life threatening to her baby, you know, her body, her choice. You know, That's my view on it. I'm not gonna remove that decision from her. I'm gonna let her do her, you
Yeah.
know, her own
Allow
thing.
allow other women to have the choice as to what to do. Whereas for you, if you were put in that position, you would more likely keep the baby.
Yes, I would. I don't care. I will keep the baby. I don't care if I was raped. I don't care whose baby it is. I'm keeping the baby.
Hmm.
You know. Um, but my mom, she says, if I had an option to choose between someone that is for abortion or and for gay marriage, and I had someone that's not for abortion and against gay marriage, I would choose that person. And I'm like, okay, but Donald Trump literally wants you out of here. Like, what do you mean? He wants you out. Okay, there's babies in cages, babies. Okay, like, what do you? I don't. I mean, I think for that reason she wouldn't vote for him, but I don't know. But she's made it clear that she probably would vote for him, and I'm just like, that's like Jews voting for Hitler as the president. I
Wow.
swear, Donald Trump is literally the reincarnation of Hitler.
Yeah, if he had his own way, if there weren't the checks and balances, then a lot of worse things would have happened. You know, he would have had military parades, every year, and
Yeah, no, I don't know if I don't know how much you know about the children in ICE. Um, they're literally in cages. They don't even have blankets like this. They don't even have like a sheet blanket. You know, they have like those emergency blankets that are plastic. That's what they have. They don't have they're being sprayed with like this chemical that can literally kill them. They're basically in a gas chamber. You know, this is gonna make me cry because it's literally so aggravating to see that these children are in cages. You know, it's like people are protesting about this. It's not getting as much coverage as it should, but there are children in cages. I have pictures of how they are in cages. Um, I mean, ICE. I think it's abolish ICE. You know, completely abolish it. It's get it out of here. And not
so
no.
like looking at immigration reform, right? Like, what do you think would be a um, what do you think would be a substantive way to move forward on this? Do you know much about like immigration legislation or strategies like Julian Castro's kind of Marshall Plan for Central America? And um, yeah, do you have any thoughts of how to move forward with immigration reform?
Just like just don't put kids in cages. We're not animals. We're not animals. You know, people have been going to a protest with a cage and like they get in the cage, you know, and I'm just like, wow. People are mad. I'm mad. I'm so mad. Like I'm so mad. I could cry. I am holding back tears right now and I might just start choking up because they're literally killing these children. They're being sex trafficked. They are sex trafficked. ICE is a sex trafficking ring basically now with all the kids in the cages. You know, how do you lose? How many kids was it? They lost kids. How do you lose a kid that you're keeping in a cage? What do you are you fucking stupid? Like, how do you lose a kid that you were literally keeping in a cage?
Hmm. Feels like, I don't know. Do you think that these kind of detention facilities, right? These concentration camps for children being separated from their parents, like is more of a is more a symptom than a root cause, right? Like something else is happening deeper that's causing this to happen. Like what's the root cause, Carmen?
I feel like just okay. I understand that people don't want Mexicans here or whatever. You know, they don't want us because they think we're bad. But these are kids, you know? They're kids. They say that when Mexico comes here, when Mexicans, I mean, When Mexicans come here, they're not bringing their best. They're bringing drug lords, they're bringing killers, etc. Okay, but look at it like this. When you look at the mass shootings, they were white. They were white, were they not? When you look at so many of these things, like so many murders, I very few times have I watched murder cases and it be a Mexican, like serial killer murder cases and things like that. Very few times has it been a Mexican, like a handful. A handful of times has it been a Mexican, or even a black person, a Hispanic in general. So I'm like, why are you? There's facts, there's evidence, okay, that it's not that we're not all bad people. We're coming here because back in Mexico, we don't have another choice. And we come here and it's like, oh, they're taking our jobs. No, you want to tell me, like, waking up at 3 a.m. to make atole. It's basically like a Mexican hot chocolate. To make atole and sell on the street. Just like get up at 3 a.m. Have it ready by 6, just so you could go out on the corner and sell it on a cold day. Is taking your job? No, you're trying to tell me that selling fruit out of the trunk of my car is taking your job? You're trying to tell me that waiting outside Home Depot to help someone with whatever they need is taking your job? You're trying to tell me that making tamales at freaking 7 a.m. to have them ready by lunchtime is taking your job? No, I'm not taking your job. You're trying to tell me that getting killed because I'm a street vendor is taking your job? No, I'm not taking your job. This is the reality. And I feel like so many people aren't saying that, you know. We work we work in houses, and I'm not gonna lie, some Mexicans do have great jobs. I'm so thankful that my dad, he has worked so hard for everything. When he first came here, he worked as a bag boy. Now he's a general manager at this cosmetics company. And
Wow.
he has his own business, and I thankfully have this beautiful house,
Mm.
because he's worked so hard. And my mom as well. She works at a factory. She doesn't make as much as my dad does, but she makes enough to get us by. I can't be more grateful for everything. But the reality is that, there was a time where she was cleaning houses because, well, she doesn't have papers. She's undocumented, so there's no other way that, like, she's working with my grandma's social security and her information. So it's hard. It's really hard. And it's like, why don't you just come here legally? It takes years and years to become a documented citizen. Years.
Do you know what the process is?
I'm not completely sure, but I know that's like get a visa. You need to have like some type of property or something like that, etc. You need to have like something in that you own here, like a house or something, you know.
Have you ever been really nervous about your parents getting deported?
Yeah, especially when like when they there was people saying so ICE is gonna start raiding homes since they know that people are home. Like during quarantine, we were like, ICE is gonna start raiding homes, and then I think when was it? Last summer, no? When ICE was like a really big thing, like
Maybe 2 years ago already, yeah.
yeah, no, I think it was just last summer. I think it was just last summer. 'Cause I remember this lady, she was talking to me about it in school. We were talking about it, and she gave me this thing that my mom could carry with her. I was like, Mom, look, like this is the law. In case anyone comes to you, you don't open the door. Okay, you don't have to say a thing. You have rights even though you're not a citizen. You 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 follow this. Don't open the door. Anything. I told her all of that. because
Could you actually share that? Like, do you have that information? I would
I
love.
don't I
Okay,
don't
I'd love
I
to share that in the description.
no, it's basically just don't open your door. You don't have to give them any of your information. You're not required to do anything that they say, you know, um, because you just don't. You have rights, you know. Your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. She doesn't have to do anything, you know. But so I just made sure I was like, Mom, like stay safe out there. And then I would see like I like literally like cars of ice pass by me, and I'm just like, what? This is not happening right now. This is not real. This can't be real, you know. And then
This is. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would be like, okay, like I kind of as a joke, but not really. I'd be like, if ICE comes to my house, I'm gonna be the one running, so they could chase me. I mean, it's like, what are they gonna do? Where are they gonna take me?
I think a big one, the reason I'm doing this channel in the first place is so we can people that are conservative or liberal or white or black or Latinx or,
Mm-hmm.
cis or transgender, that we all have a story and we all have something to learn from each other. And I think, what I'm learning from you is that really that I really connect to you when I hear you talk about your your experience with your undocumented parents. That like everyone has a mother and father that, and they sacrificed, I'm sure, a lot to come to this country. Probably they probably sacrificed everything, and they've worked so tirelessly and are part of our society. And to think that a guy with orange skin can come up and incite so much hysteria to try to get these hardworking, loving parents, hard workers, and just human to like try to launch these human beings out of a country that has been their home for years. It's just it's immoral, and
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome that you're sharing your story, Carmen. I think it's really
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. No, like I've been saying, like with the immigrant children, you know, they're the immigrant children are being ripped away from their mom and dad. They're not even with their parents. You know, they're they're alone. They're being killed. They're being sex trafficked. They're being sexually assaulted all the time, and it's something that the media doesn't cover. The media doesn't cover it. Like I said, I learned that from TikTok and social media. I haven't seen any of that on the news or anything like that. There's no major news outlets talking about it. you know and I feel like once once you take them away from their parents, it becomes the whole Latinx community fighting for it, because once you take them and you lock them up in cages, it hurts us. Like, it hurts us. We feel the pain, you know and it's like, you take them, you're gonna hear us, you're gonna hear our voice. They're like, it at that moment they become our kids. It's not just the parents' kids, it's our kids.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen any protests because for the any of the ICE protests, but the protesters are chanting "Free our kids," not "Free the kids," "Free our kids," because it becomes our kids. You hit the Latinx community somewhere where it hurts, you know. So at that moment, they become our kids.
Yeah, that's um, well. Wow. Yeah, you're a very powerful person. I think it's awesome that your voice is being heard and people will be listening to you.
Yeah.
You are educating others right now. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I feel like a lot of the things I'm saying isn't making sense, because when I get very heated about something, or when I'm very passionate about something, sometimes words just flow out, and I stutter upon my words, and it's just hard for me to like make make everything I'm saying understandable when it's something I'm passionate or heated about.
Well, it sounds like you are an activist, a young activist that's ready and rearing to take on the system, which is exactly what
Hmm.
I want to do too. You know, so we're in the same group in that way. I guess one last question before we go. Like, are your friends are your friends white? Are they Mexican as well? And if they are, like, are their families also undocumented?
I have one white friend, and I do know some. I have some friends that their parents aren't undocumented. Yeah, but I have like one black friend, one other friend that's kind of black, but also part um I think from Guatemala, and then I think my other friend is from Guatemala, or maybe she's from Guatemala. I'm not sure, but I
Are
know
these
I
are the are these all from high school? These-
um no, I have one friend that I have had for basically my entire life, and I know her mom is undocumented, and her dad he was undocumented. He actually got deported a couple years ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean I've known her my entire life, so
So you live in a um, pretty diverse city.
yeah, I'm in LA, Los
Okay,
Angeles.
cool.
Yeah, so it is very diverse actually. You see every single skin color out here.
Well, so much to learn, man. So much. Well, it was really nice talking to you. And do you have any last thoughts or any kind of like final closing statements or whatever you want?
Do your research. Make sure you know who you're voting for. Make sure you know what what they're trying to do. Make sure what what their lies are, because most politicians lie a lot. So just educate yourself on who you want to vote for and everything. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and um vote not Republican. Vote 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 for anyone but Trump, except for vote for anyone but Trump and Kanye. Because a vote for Kanye is a vote for Trump.
Kanye's not going to follow through on this. There's no way.
I don't know, but anyone that votes for Kanye, it's a vote for Trump, pretty much.
Hmm. Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the call. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube immediately, and I'll send you a link of it. And make sure to, if you want to, share
Mhm.
with people and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. There's a
All
lot
right.
of really cool people like you on here. Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah. See you later.
Bye.